All right, call the Osseo City Council regular meeting to order here for Monday, September 22nd at 7 p.m. Roll call. Looks like we have all members with us this evening. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, look for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion by Councilmember Harkoff to approve tonight's agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Torres. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right, consent agenda. Any questions on that? If not, we look for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Okay, got a motion by Councilmember Cook to approve tonight's consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Harkoff. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right, next is matters from the floor. Any wishing to speak, please fill out one of the yellow cards and you'll be called up. Give them to one of the city staff. We've got a few already here. First one, Tia Donaldson? Donovan? It's M.
Perfect. Hello, Council. Wonderful to see you tonight. Happy to be back standing at the podium here. I wanted to talk about the Public Safety Committee appointment. I'll introduce myself a little bit here. I've been an Osseo resident for 5 years. I work in business development at a local relocation management company. I've been doing that for just over a year, but I've been there for 4.5 years. Prior to that, I worked in childcare for about 7 years. So I am very involved in the communities that I work within. I'm also the Community Cares Chair on the Minnesota Employee Relocation Council. So I love to be as involved as possible with the communities that I help to serve. And so I think that this would be a really great opportunity for me to be able to help the residents of Osseo and kind of be the bridge into the city administration. I know that I have been on Facebook. I know people have concerns, and I would love to be able to relay those in what might be a more favorable manner. I think that I can relay information very well. I work very hard to communicate directly and openly, but I really want to be a safe place for community members to come to, knowing that they can trust me to share information with the council and the administrators of the city. So I know that there's a really great group of people. You can't go wrong with any of them from what I've heard. And so, but I think that I would be a really great fit for this. And that's it for me.
All right, thank you. Next, Carrie Keene.
Evening. I just wanted to comment on a few things that I know are hot topics right now. I know earlier in the work session you were discussing possibly eliminating the opportunity for people to email their comments in for matters from the floor. I feel that that is an important avenue for people to be able to reach you and to be on record in this meeting, which residents can then see the meeting. They don't have access to your personal emails to know what people send you. So I think it's important for that to be on record. People work second shift. They can't always be here. There are many reasons they can't be here. I understand it was a COVID leftover, but I think eliminating the option for citizens to submit is a step backwards in accessibility. And I know the community really wants accessibility with the council. I think it's a step back for civic engagement, which people are hungry for. I also wanted to comment on the budget. I know it's high this year, and everybody is abuzz about that throughout the city. Everyone in the city seems very upset, feels like they're getting priced out of the community. I know the proposed budget today is high. I get that. But I'd like to see, working forward, bringing that down. There's some line items that cause me concern. Benefit allowance for police officers being up from $10K just 4 years ago to $188K next year. It's a huge difference. At least explain it to the residents why that is. Inspections budget up 127% this year. There's just a number of line items that are huge, and I don't see it being moved from other areas necessarily. And I think the citizens, they just really want to know why. So if you can find an avenue to explain that to everyone, that would be appreciated by all. We do know increases are required, but just understanding why and where. I have more than 3 minutes worth of information, so if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'd appreciate it. I know I don't get much feedback from my emails, so happy to talk to you and talk through things. Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. Our next, Kenny Nelson.
One second, sorry. Going off of what our last speaker said, everybody's really upset, except for you guys, apparently. Because I watched part of your work session covering the budget, and I saw basically 4 of you pat yourselves on the back. It's a 14% increase. That's the highest in the metro. According to channel, I think it was channel 5, who found that Brooklyn Park at 12.5 was going to be the highest. But you guys said 12.8. Maybe, because your budget here says 12.8, opening cover page. But then you flip over here and you read into it. It goes, the budget would increase from 14% to 4% if we were to get 5 Central on the book, off the TIF. So I don't know which is it. You guys say this is an investment in a staff, and I hate to go after the staff, but this is pretty routine stuff that, you showed slides that weren't in the packet. I would have liked to look at those, look over the numbers some more, instead of having to try and pause the TV and look at them, but guess I'll never know. It's a 14% increase, and I didn't hear you guys talk once about the biggest increase in the budget. And we all know what it is. I don't expect you to do anything about it. I really don't, because you guys have made your mind up that this is an investment. Well, your biggest investment this city's made in decades, 5 Central, we were hoping it was going to reduce our tax burden for everybody. But even if we were to get that off the books, we're going from a 14%, from your guys' words, to a 4%. We're still looking at a cost. And then what are we looking at coming off the books? We have Real Life, Napa, and a few other small TIF districts. That's it. And I don't know how big of an increase those are, because they've struggled for the last 15, 20 years to actually pay their bonds. So I don't know what kind of big tax increase we're looking at. Over the last 5 years, we've been really hoping that property values can continue to increase our spending abilities here, but they're not. Property values seem like they're stalling out. I know one neighbor who recently sold their house, and when asked why, he said, well, taxes are way less in Maple Grove. I can get the same house over there, and I can pay way less and have better services. The other thing I would call that, whoa, you're only pay $200 a month. No, we're also paying an additional money a quarter, and because we've spent so much money on the police, we didn't have money to then pay for some of our other stuff when we did not get that bond money from the state. So now we're going to be looking at, in 5 years, $100 a quarter tax increase for water or sewer, one of them. I mean, you're raising it every which way. It's not like we're just raising it one way. We're raising every which way. And marijuana, our other big bet, well, from what you guys have said, the way we were going to make a bunch of money on marijuana was to be the first open. Be the first one in the state, first one in the metro. Well, Rise is now open over there in Brooklyn Park. How many more will be open before we even get anything going? So I'm not sure how much money that's going to make at this point, and I worry that we're going to lose money on it. Lastly, I would just like to say Marcus Lieb, he asked me to say his name. He said wrong message. Get the right one. He wants you guys to know it's alarming that you're talking about not taking emails anymore. And that you guys need to talk about cutting the police and figuring out the budget, because we're bleeding people in this town. Either that or we need to incorporate into Maple Grove. And that was from Marcus Lieb. He's my neighbor. Thank you.
All right, next matters from the floor. Preston Kruska.
Thank you. I know that's not the name I put on that sheet. What was the name I put on that sheet?
I couldn't read it.
Couldn't read. My balls itch. You adjusted that document? An official document? Is that what you're saying? All right.
You have a comment?
Well, that's part of it after you did that. So, does anybody know the 5 elements of the First Amendment? You should. Harkoff, you were a chief of police. You got sworn in for it. It's the Constitution. Torres, you should. Freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom to redress our grievances, freedom to assemble, protest. Your social media page, again, for City of Osseo, opened up comments on September 17th again. You can't go back and forth. That's a violation. Fourth Amendment. Anybody know what that is? I know Toros probably does. I know Harkoff probably does. It is to be secure in your person's place and effects. Your person, I don't care what your policy says. It's not law. If your policy says I can't say fuck, it's unlawful. It's my First Amendment right. When you do this, you are censoring the people. I put my name down for public safety for a reason. They meet maybe once a year. Public safety should probably be more involved than a historic preservation committee, at least in my eyes. So with that being said, I hope the city attorney reaches out to LMC and goes over the social media policy, because it's actually the LMC posted in 2023. Be very careful. Reach out to other attorneys so you don't violate our rights. We already know the tyrant number 1 here doesn't know the law, even though he was sworn in for it. Thank you.
All right, any other matters from the floor? Third time matters from the floor. All right, moving on. 7, special business. 7A, approve gateway sign fee waiver for Fire Foundation.
It's Fighters Foundation.
Fighters
I believe,
Foundation.
yes. Mayor, Council, we received a application for a message fee waiver from Fighters Foundation out of Champlin. This is their annual fundraising event to raise funds for local cancer patients. They're 100% volunteer-based. It says it brings in anywhere from 150 to 250 people for this event. They need to get as many people in the door as they can so they can put up a sign or put up on our digital sign. Again, they reiterated they're 100% volunteer and that every dollar helps that is able to be donated. So this is from the Fighters Foundation.
And where's the event being held?
The Osseo American Legion.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
This is an event I know that's happened for several years. Is this a normal request? Is this one that we've seen in the past?
I don't, yeah, we have seen it in the past. Has it been,
Waived.
it's
Yes.
been waived?
No, that's what I thought. I'll make a motion to approve the gateway sign waiver fee for the Fighters Foundation event at the Osseo American Legion.
I got a motion by Councilmember Cook to approve the gateway sign fee waiver. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Torres. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes 4-1. Number 8, public hearings. Approve new liquor license for Mexico de Corazon.
Mayor and council, I'll be presenting this one. Mexico de Corazon, located at 204 Central Avenue, located in Suite A, officially opened on August 8th. The owner, Monica Ortiz Barajas, has submitted a completed application for on-sale intoxicating and Sunday liquor license, with the proposed liquor license term extending through June 30th of 2026. All required documentation has been submitted, including a successful background investigation conducted by our police department. Prorated license fees have been collected. As this is a new liquor license, a public hearing is required. Staff recommends that the city council open the public hearing to receive comment, close the hearing, and consider a motion to approve the liquor license for Mexico de Corazon. And the owner is present here tonight, if you have any questions for her.
Okay, so we look for a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Okay, I got a motion by Councilmember Schultz. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Torres. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The public hearing is now open at 7:16. Does anyone have any public comment? Okay, with seeing no comment, would look for a motion to close the public
So
hearing.
moved.
Got a motion by Councilmember Schultz to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Torres. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We're, public hearing is closed at 7:17. Okay. Are there questions, or if not, we'd look for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve the new liquor license for Mexico de Corazon.
Okay, we got a motion by
Second.
Councilmember Cook to approve the new liquor license, second by Councilmember Schultz. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Number 8, old business. Approve second reading, adoption, and summary publication of zoning ordinance update to zoning change at 241 Fifth Avenue Southeast.
Mayor, Council, the Osseo City Council should consider the approval of the second reading of a zoning ordinance amendment for a rezoning of 241 Fifth Avenue Southeast. The Planning Commission held a public hearing to consider an application to amend zoning code designation for 241 Fifth Avenue Southeast from R1, 1 and 2 family residential, to C2N, highway commercial north. At the August 18th meeting, the commission recommended approval of the proposed amendments as presented. The Osseo City Council voted to approve the first reading of the zoning ordinance, rezoning the property from to C2N, the Highway Commercial District North, on September 8th. The property owner has paid all associated fees for the zoning change. A public hearing has been held along with the first reading of the ordinance. So that is, we're looking for an approval of the second reading of the zoning ordinance amendment for rezoning 241 Fifth Avenue Southeast and adopt a summary publication.
That can be one motion, right, Mayor? Two motions?
Two motions,
Yep.
please.
Okay, we need a motion to adopt the second reading of the zoning ordinance amendment.
So moved.
Okay, we got a motion by Councilmember Schultz to adopt the second reading of the zoning ordinance amendment. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Harkoff. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Now we need a motion to adopt the summary publication.
So moved.
Okay, I've got a motion by Councilmember Schultz to adopt the summary publication. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Harkoff. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Attorney Teachin, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This is resolution number 42. Councilmember Hartkoff.
Aye.
Councilmember Schultz.
Aye.
Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Councilmember Torres.
Aye.
Mayor Poppy.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. All All right, approve second reading, adoption, and summary publication amending Chapter 91 of the Fire Code.
Mayor, Council, the City Council approved the first reading of the ordinance amendment at the September 8th meeting with noted changes. The council advised staff to revise the ordinance stating recreational fires can be burned between 9 a.m. and 2 a.m. Council voted to assign Fire Chief Mike Cogswell the duties of administering operational permits, with Rum River providing fill-in services at their previously approved hourly rate, and appointed Andy Schrader to administer fire construction permits in the city of Osseo. The resolution and ordinance have been edited to reflect the council recommendations, and we're looking for a motion to approve the second reading and adopt a summary publication.
Mayor, would you like 2 votes on this one as well?
Yes, please.
Okay, first we need a motion to adopt the second reading.
So moved.
Okay, we've got a motion by Councilmember Torres to adopt the second reading of the updated code. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Schultz. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Now we need a motion to adopt the attached resolution.
So moved.
That Councilmember Torres with the adoption of the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Cook. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Attorney Teachin, please.
Thank you. Resolution number 43, Councilmember Schultz.
Aye.
Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Councilmember Torres.
Aye.
Councilmember Hartkoff.
Aye.
Mayor Poppy.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. All right, 10, new business. 10A, approve first reading amendment of section 111.08 of City Code, modifying the hours allowed for conducting business by peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants.
Mayor, Council, the City Council gave direction to staff to change the hours for conducting business in Osseo for peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. To change that to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Attorney Teachin created and reviewed the changes in the ordinance, and so we're looking for a first reading of the new section and the amendments to the code.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
I'm going to reiterate a point I think I made earlier. I looked at all, like Maple Grove, Champlin, Brooklyn Park, Anoka, Rogers. They're all at 8 p.m. So it's like a 9 to 8 kind of situation. I think going down to 7 is maybe a little earlier than what we need to do. We would be in a unique situation with the area surroundings. That's the only part of this that I'm kind of like, but if the rest of the council is set on 7 p.m. as the number, then that's fine. I do think it needs to be changed. It should not be 9 p.m. I do think it should be before that. So I think 8 is a more reasonable number, but if 7 is what everybody else is set on, then like I said, I'm not gonna hold the whole thing up because of that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
I think one of the things that made 7 o'clock a little more palatable to me was that I think of families that are putting kids to bed, and they're going to be doing that 8-ish o'clock, very possibly, and they don't need knocking at the door and whatnot. I think 7 gives a merchant plenty. They got 12 hours in the day, basically, is what this comes down to. You got 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night. You got 12 hours to try to do business in this town and solicit business. So I guess I don't see a problem with 7 o'clock just based on, let family time be family time or me time be me time. That's all.
What do people feel about the 7 a.m.?
Personally, I think it's a little early. I'm imagining somebody banging on my door at 7 o'clock. They're going to get the bad gatto. So, yeah.
Council, any other comments on hours? Not. Would somebody like to make a motion with stated hours to amend the first reading?
I'll make a motion to have the amended reading for the first reading.
And what would you like to make that motion be?
These
I
ones are
appreciate you
always
making a
tricky.
motion.
I am making a motion for the first reading, amending section 111.08 of the city code, modifying the hours allowed for the conducting of business by peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants
To what hours?
to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay, got a motion by Councilmember Torres to amend or approve the first reading with the updated hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Schultz. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right, appointment of Public Safety Advisory Committee.
I'm going to take this one also. Mayor and Council, the Public Safety Advisory Committee is made up of 2 Osseo residents, 2 Osseo business owners or employees, 2 city council members, and staff, including the city administrator, police chief, fire chief, and other public safety staff as requested. Following the appointment of Tom Hartkoff to the vacant city council seat on June 23rd, his resident seat on the Public Safety Advisory Committee is now open. This vacancy carries a term ending December 31st, 2027. Additionally, after the council packet was published last week, staff received notice that resident committee member Kim Klochek is unable to continue serving on the committee, creating a second vacancy with a term ending on December 31st, 2025. We have received 5 letters of interest from residents that were included in the packet for your review. Staff is requesting the council approve a resolution to appoint replacements for both resident seats on the Public Safety Advisory Committee tonight. And also please formally note the additional appointment as part of the action to revise the resolution that was drafted in the packet.
Okay. Council's questions.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
so Mayor, do we have to approve the second position first and then do the appointment, or can this all be done in one fell swoop?
Mayor and Council, I spoke with the city clerk ahead of the meeting, and it was my opinion that you could go ahead and make both appointments tonight if you choose to do that.
Perfect.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
First, I would like to just take a second to speak on behalf of Tia Dombin. Tia applied for the open council position when it was open. Our guidance to her was to look at other ways to get involved. She has followed through with that. She has done that. I know she's had meetings with Councilmember Torres, and now is applying for an opening on a committee. This was exactly the same route that I went when I went through this process before I was officially appointed to the council. She has shown a consistent level of wanting to be involved, and I think that speaks volumes to what she can bring to the committee. And so I would be overwhelmingly in favor of Tia filling one of the 2 positions. It is my personal opinion. I think we have a couple other really good candidates. I guess I lean towards Derek Meyer, and his letter of interest struck me just in his background with sort of cybersecurity, working with different law agencies like the BCA. I think gives him a very valuable perspective on public safety from a lot of different angles, and so those would be the 2 candidates that I think the other candidates are good as well. Those are the 2 that kind of jump out at me.
Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
I also would support Tia Dombin for what I think she'd be great at it. My first choice would be Ed Hawthorne, who's been in the city for more than 10 years and has an extensive local law enforcement background with the sheriff's office and the experience he's had. And I think he'd be a great asset to the local Osseo.
Yep.
He was my other, I was kind of looking at Derek and Ed as well, so I would have no issues with moving forward with that.
Mr. Mayor? Yes, was able to meet with Tia. She cordially took the time to sit down with me, and it was more of a reaffirmation, just to see if that level of excitement still existed, and it absolutely did. And I want to thank her for talking with me on that. So I'm in consensus with nominating Tia as one of the two. Interestingly, I initially had, for the second choice, kind of thought the same way you guys were thinking. It's like, okay, which one of these? They got the law enforcement stuff. And then I kind of shifted a little bit. And while the email is very, very short, and I wished it would have had more information, I was a little bit intrigued with Jessica, and I'm not going to get this right, Schifferly? From the aspect of, I thought of other people that when I was on the PSA for that little short time, there was input that I think that we got from folks that weren't in law enforcement, but that were engaged in the community another way. And what drew me to her was managing North Oaks Manor, which is like right around the corner from me. And that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big complex. And I thought of it, what came to my mind was Tabitha over at the Holiday. And it's like, okay, they engage with law enforcement when they come there, fill up and whatnot. But I mean, she's not involved in law enforcement. I thought, she brings a kind of good perspective and a unique perspective as a business owner. And I thought about Jessica as a manager of a fairly large complex that has lots of people in it. There could be a perspective there. So it's not to diminish the qualifications of Daryl or Ed. It was just at least giving some consideration to that. Maybe this isn't the right time for her. I encourage anybody that submitted, again, not this time around. There's always going to be opportunities. But I just kind of wanted to throw it out there just because it was something mulling around in my mind. I don't have a very firm second choice, and was kind of hoping that once I heard the discussion here, that would solidify in my mind. And I think that's the way that's going to go. But again, just because I was thinking about it, I thought in all fairness, I should bring it up and just kind of let you guys know where I was coming from when I thought about that submission, and why that submission I saw as kind of a unique perspective that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing on public safety. So just throwing that out there. But I have not made any kind of choice for second.
Mr. Mayor? So I agree with everybody so far on the first candidate as far as Tia goes. To Mr. Cook's comments, Tia was an applicant for the open council seat, and we encouraged the people that we did not choose that day to be involved and to step up. Another person that meets that exact same qualification is Derek Mayer. Okay, he was another guy that was another applicant for city council that was not chosen at that point in time. Then we have Ed's name thrown out there, and Ed's been in this community a long time, raised a family here, has a very unique perspective regarding the community, not only from his law enforcement career, but just the type of guy that Ed is and his activities, being involved in, Booster Club at the high school and a lot of different stuff that was out there. So I'm kind of sitting, on kind of a tie for me when it comes to Derek and Ed. But for sure, I'm good with Tia. There's no question there.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with Tia, and of the ones, I think Ed would make a great addition to that committee.
So, Mr. Mayor, then hearing the opinions of everybody, seems like we have two pretty firm commitments on Tia and Ed, and then we've got, not as firm commitments anywhere else. And, for the sake of expediency, rather than protract this argument, I'd go along with the other two people appointing Ed.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
I would also to move this along, and I can support Ed.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I will make a motion, Mr. Mayor, to appoint Tia Domban and Ed Hawthorne to the open positions on the Public Safety Committee.
Okay, got a motion by Councilmember Cook to appoint Tia and Ed to the Public Safety Advisory Committee. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Councilmember Torres. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
may City Administrator just pointed out to me that the two seats have different amounts of time left. So does the council have a preference of which candidate fills which seat?
What are the times?
27 and 25.
Mr. Mayor, can I amend my motion?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to approve the appointment of Tia Domban to the seat that would expire in 2027 and Ed Hawthorne to the seat that would expire in 2025.
Okay.
That work?
Councilmember Torres, would you like to,
I will second the amended motion.
you'll agree with or revise your second to that? Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, Attorney Teacher, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This is Resolution 44. Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Councilmember Torres.
Aye.
Councilmember Hartkoff.
Aye.
Councilmember Schultz.
Aye.
Mayor Poppy.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. All right, 10C, update ESST policy.
Mayor and council, I think this is going to be falling on Attorney Teachin, I believe.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. This is pretty straightforward. In 2025, the legislature made some very minor changes to the Earned Sick and Safe Time law. And I am in front of you tonight is an updated policy just to incorporate those changes. The memo in the packet summarizes them briefly. They're pretty much just kind of housekeeping, minor updates. The first one is that previously the law said that an employer could require an employee to provide notice as soon as practicable for an unforeseeable use of ESST. And effective this summer, that was changed to be as reasonably required by the employer. So pretty minor. The second change was the time frame for when the city can request documentation from an employee. The law used to say when the absence was for more than 3 consecutive scheduled workdays, and that was reduced to 2 consecutive workdays. And then the final change, the statute prohibits employers from requiring employees to find a replacement worker when they are absent for an ESST reason. And again, effective this summer, the statute now clarifies that employees may voluntarily seek or trade shifts with another employee to cover their absence. So those changes were made to the policy just to keep it in line with state statute, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Okay, thank you. Questions, council? Seeing none, would someone like to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I can make a motion to change our ESST policy in compliance with state regulations and law.
Okay, we got a motion by Councilmember Schultz to update the ESST policy. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Councilmember Torres. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right, 10D, approve preliminary 2026 budget and tax levy.
Mayor and council, we had a lot of discussion at our work session today about our 2026 city budget and tax levy, preliminary 2026 city budget and tax levy. So we're looking for some action tonight to do some resolution for the 2026 budget and property tax levy, a resolution reducing debt service tax levies for 2026, and a resolution approving the EDA tax levy.
Questions? If not, we look for a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yep.
I make a motion to make the resolution approving the 2026 budget and property tax levy.
Okay, I got a motion by Councilman Harkoff to approve the resolution approving the 2026 budget and property tax levy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Cook. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
I just want to, again, just reiterate for folks who may not have heard it, this is not the final number. And historically, it's never been the final number. And we heard a lot of comments that were made tonight that were professed as fact, that were not in fact facts, they were suppositions. So I just want to put it on the record, this is not the final number, and there's still more work to do. So I think we can move forward, and this is how we move forward. That's all.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
I do want to point out also that at the work session, which the city of Osseo video records and posts to website, which as I've come to find out, is not commonplace with a lot of our other municipalities around here where they can see the discussion, that it will be posted probably within the next 24 to 36 hours. So if residents want to see the robust conversation that happened, it's readily available on the website for more information.
Any further discussion? If not, Attorney Teacher, please.
Thank you. Resolution number 45, Councilmember Torres.
Aye.
Councilmember Hardkoff.
Aye.
Councilmember Schultz.
Aye.
Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Mayor Poppy.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Now I'd look for a motion or a resolution reducing the debt service tax levies for 2026.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion for the resolution reducing the debt service tax levies for 2026.
I got a motion by Councilmember Cook to approve the resolution reducing the debt service tax levies. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Torres. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Attorney Teachin, please.
Resolution 46, Councilmember Hardkoff.
Aye.
Councilmember Schultz.
Aye.
Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Councilmember Torres.
Aye.
Mayor Poppy.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. Now we need a motion for the resolution adopting the EDA tax levy.
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
I got a motion by Councilmember Schultz to adopt the resolution approving the EDA tax levy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Harkoff. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Attorney Teachin, please.
Resolution 47, Councilmember Schultz.
Aye.
Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Councilmember Torres.
Aye.
Councilmember Hardkoff.
Aye.
Mayor Poppy.
Aye, motion passes 5-0. All right, number 10E, approve accounts payable.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the accounts payable.
I got a motion by Councilmember Cook to approve the accounts payable. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Schultz. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right, administrator report.
I have nothing.
City clerk. All right, council and attorneys report. Attorney Teachin.
No report tonight.
Okay, Councilmember Harkoff.
No report.
Councilmember Torres.
I had all kinds of stuff to report, but I'm going to leave it to one sentence. Incivility provides no benefit to anyone. That's the end of my report.
Okay, Councilmember Cook.
I just want to take a quick second to thank you, to thank staff in particular for taking the time out to meet about budget stuff with all of us and to spend a lot of time going over, you know, how thorough or not we were willing to or wanting to do and taking time out of their day to do that, oftentimes in the evenings. Away from family to spend time so that we can wrap our heads around all these numbers to the best of our ability. And I found it to be an incredibly helpful and insightful session. And so I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for that. And then asking for numbers and information and getting those back in a really timely manner is just really, really appreciated. So thank you for all of you that were involved in doing that and taking that time to spend, because I found it very, very beneficial. So other than that's all I have.
Okay, Councilmember Schultz.
I want to thank all the applicants for the Public Safety Advisory Committee opening. Appreciate all that. Like to also thank the council for sitting through those budget meetings that everybody was there. I mean, I don't know how long your meetings were, but I know Dwayne and I probably have, 10 hours into this. And if I remember correctly, when we looked at everything and looked at the recommendation of staff, that I think the original high water mark was like 25%. So we've already chopped 10% there. There's a lot of unknowns, as there always is, but even more unknowns that could make a significant and prolific impact on this final budget. I wish that we had the large budget that we could, go out right now and just say, we're going to do this percent or whatever. But unfortunately, our unknowns are significant when it comes to the size of our budget versus the size of our neighbors. And so, as I mentioned before, I hate this time of year, absolutely hate it, because I realize that, when you create taxes and levies and things like that, that's basically us deciding how much it costs to operate our city. From the work session, I really liked Councilmember Torres's response to this aspect regarding creating value. I understand that not everybody sees the same value that we're going to see up here. Unfortunately, we have to make these decisions, and these decisions are never pleasant for me. I don't derive any satisfaction from these conversations at all. But the nature of it is that, to mention his term, which is something I've used over a decade now, which is a return on investment. Our city services, our results with our city services make profound impact on the quality of life of our residents. I understand that people have certain feelings about it. I have certain feelings about it also. But also, when I look at the priorities set forth in this budget, I think we're covering the different areas that we need to cover satisfactorily. And I'm very optimistic that once we get the unknown numbers and the other aspects of this budget, then this can be lowered significantly.
All right, thank you. Moving on to announcements. We did have a number of appointments today, but there are a number of committee appointments or committee openings, and if you have an interest in those, staff is going to be reaching out just to update people. There will be an opening on the economic development. That's a 6-year term. There will be additional public safety advisory committee opening at the end of the year. Planning Commission is a 3-year term. That'll have 2 openings coming up at the end of the year. Park and Rec, a 3-year term, will have 1 opening. And the Historical Preservation Committee for a 3-year term has 2 openings. So staff will be reaching out and requesting letters of interest for those expired terms. So if you have an interest in serving on a committee or a commission, please submit your letter of application to consider those for next year. And with that, moving on to adjournment.
So moved.
Got a motion by Councilmember Schultz. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Cook, non-debatable. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We're adjourned at 7:47. Thank you.